Welcome to Week 6 of the 2011 legislative session. From Tallahassee, I'm John Johnson, your Director of Government Affairs and Chief Lobbyist for the FICPA. Florida lawmakers hit the halfway point during Week 5 of the 60-day session, and there's no doubt that both the House and the Senate are moving forward with major pieces of legislation covering everything from Medicaid, pension reform, unemployment compensation, and merit pay for teachers. However, as of the end of Week 5, the merit pay bill is the only major piece of legislation that has been approved by both the House and the Senate and has already been signed into law by Governor Scott. Lawmakers now have less than 30 days to resolve their differences and pass scores of pending legislation, including the 2011-2012 budget, which began to take shape on days 30 and 31 when lawmakers began a two-day marathon as the Senate debated over 80 floor amendments related to the budget, and the House debated over 50 floor amendments, as both chambers took sharp aim at their respective pension reform bills. However, unlike last week when I reported that the House and Senate were lockstep proposing that public employees to pay 3% of their salaries into their respective retirement plans, the Senate made significant changes to their plan and passed a budget that would set escalating rates for public employees, requiring a contribution rate of 2% on the first $25,000 earned, 4% on the second $25,000, and 6% on everything above $50,000 earned. The Senate bill also differs from the House as it relates to special risk employees, where the House raises the age for full employment from 50 to 55, and the Senate raises the age to 52, or after 25 years of service. And after all was said and done, the House passed a $66.5 billion budget, and the Senate a $69.8 billion budget. Although the two budgets are more than $3.3 billion apart, the two proposals are actually closer than the bottom line suggests, as the Senate budget folds the 5 management water district budgets into the general state budget, as lawmakers now begin the final painstaking process of working out their differences in conference over the next 2 weeks, so that both chambers can pass and present one budget to the governor for his review and approval. It's likely that lawmakers will reach a budget deal, however, with significant policy differences still to be worked out, especially over employee pension reform. What is unclear is if the legislature will adjourn by May 6. In this week's bill tracker, the full Senate began debate over the governor's proposed Jobs Florida bill. Senate Bill 2156 would help the governor achieve his economic achievements by combining different agencies under one umbrella agency called Jobs Florida. The state agencies that would be impacted are the Agencies for Workforce and Innovation, the Department of Community Affairs, and the Office of Tourism, Trade, and Economic Development. This bill, along with the House companion bill, are now being debated on the floor of the House and Senate. House Bill 493 and Senate Bill 376 are two hotly contested tax on transaction bills that were filed to resolve the legal dispute between online booking services and local governments as it relates to the application of the tourist development tax. These two bills would clarify that the service fee associated with booking reservations for customers by, for example, Expedia, Orbitz, or any other online booking services would not be taxed. Both bills have several more committee stops before reaching the full House and the Senate. And finally, on this week's bill track, an update on a bill that I reported on last week. As you recall, Senate Bill 662 is a piece of legislation that would require a licensed CPA firm who performs the attest function to undergo a peer review every 3 years as a condition of firm license renewal. The overall goal of this legislation is to help improve a firm's work and to put Florida CPA firms on equal footing with their peers from around the country without being punitive. as Florida is the only major state and only one of 2 states that currently does not require a firm to undergo peer review as a condition of firm license renewal. The language in 662 has now been included in Senate Bill 1824, and this bill unanimously passed the Senate Transportation Committee last week. To track these and other bills of interest, log on to the FICPA homepage. Find the GovAffairs link on the upper right, which will take you to legislative updates and to bill tracking. In this week's Now You Know segment, which is dedicated to keeping you informed about proposed amendments to Florida's Constitution being considered by the Florida Legislature, this week's Now You Know segment can be found in Joint Resolution House Bill 7221 and Senate Bill 958. This joint resolution amends Section 1, Article 7, and would create Section 19, Article 7, and Section 32, Article 12 of the Florida Constitution, and would replace the existing state revenue limitation, which has been based over the years on personal income growth, and will replace it with a new revenue limitation based on population and inflation. This proposed amendment would also require revenues collected above the new state limitation to be deposited in the state's stabilization fund and to be used to support education or return to the taxpayers. If this joint resolution passes both the House and Senate by 3/5 vote, this proposed legislative amendment would be placed on the November 2012 ballot for voters to consider, which would require at least 60% of the voters to pass. And now you know. And finally, to end this week's report, Chief Financial Officer Jeff Atwater recognized April 2011 as Financial Literacy Month and recognized Veterans Plus as the winner of the 2011 Champion of Financial Literacy Award for providing financial education to more than 4,000 military personnel and their families over the last year. For more information on how you can get involved in a financial fitness program or have information on a program in your area that you would like to share with other FICPA members, contact Brenda Hubbard at the FICPA. And finally, if you have any comments, suggestions, or topics of interest that you would like to see covered on a future broadcast of the Legislative and Regulatory Update, please email me, John Johnson, at johnson@ficpa.org. Until next time, have a great week.